Hi, this video covers days 18 and 19 of the Thailand to Indochina group motorbike tour that's the subject of this video series. In this one we ride from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap, home of the ancient Khmer citadel of Angkor, the Angkor Wat temple and the surrounding ruins. Along the way we visit a 12th century Angkor period bridge and take a sail on the Tonle Sap lake, the largest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia. Then we spend the day in Siem Reap. Picking up around lunchtime. It's a pleasant ride on quiet roads today, very flat, nothing very remarkable to see from the road. It's another great dry day and we were really lucky with the weather for the whole trip. It was November and so dry and getting cooler, so it's worth remembering. We passed lots of kids cycling to, or more likely from, school. In Cambodia, the standard state school week is 6 half days and the education is pretty basic. I'll come back to this later in the video as it becomes relevant. This is the small town of Kampong Kdei, where the old Angkor period bridge is located. It's worth remembering that Southeast Asia's modern borders are colonial era constructs, mostly imposed by the Europeans, and relatively recently, from the 19th century. Singapore, for instance, only became an independent country in 1965, albeit nothing directly to do with the Europeans. In the centuries before that, the region was composed of kingdoms and ethnic groups, some with strong national identities, and the Khmer Empire at Angkor was by far the dominant one between the 9th to the 14th century, covering Cambodia, most of present-day Thailand and Laos, and some of China, with its seat of power right here in this floodplain between the Tonle Sap Lake and the Kulin Mountains. The great period of construction for the Angkor seems to be around 900 to 1200 CE. There's temples and structures like this bridge all over the region, well into Thailand. One of the only surviving stone bridges in Thailand is in my home city of Sakonnakhon. The Angkorians typically built using sandstone and this laterite stone, which is a kind of compacted soil containing a lot of iron, aluminium and other minerals. The red colour of the structures comes from the high iron oxide content. As we leave this area, you can see how flat the land is around here, being the floodplains of the Tonle Sap Lake, where we go next. So the next stop is Tonle Sap Lake for a sunset cruise. At 2,700 square kilometres, Tonle Sap is the biggest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia and was a vital source of water and fish protein for sustaining the Angkor population at Siem Reap. Despite its huge size, it's amazingly only 1 metre or 3 feet deep on average. Its maximum depth is only 10 metres or 30 feet. It's got enormous biodiversity and is home to carp, snakehead, walking catfish and other species. They did have crocs once apparently as well. It provides about 60% of Cambodia's freshwater fish supply.
This is cool. This is absolutely cool.
Right at this point, it looks almost like the sea. It's amazing to think it's so shallow. We caught the sunset here and then headed to Siem Reap for dinner and a show of Khmer music and dancing. The next day we visited a school where one of the group, Mark, who's pictured here on the left, donated money to help establish it because of the poor infrastructure and quality of the state schools that he observed a decade before. And it's now in the care of a charitable NGO and very successful. The students put on a show for us of ukulele singing and again traditional Khmer dancing. In Khmer dancing, the face remains impassive and the hands and feet express the emotions. You can easily see the likeness here to the bas-relief carvings in the temple walls around the Angkor Wat. And no visit to Siem Reap can be complete without a visit to Angkor Wat. First, take heed of the signs. No drones, no nudity, no genital exposure. OnlyFans influencers be warned. So the Angkor Wat is a Hindu-Buddhist temple complex within the larger ancient Khmer capital city of Angkor. The complete citadel is reckoned to be about 1,000 square kilometres and was home to between 750,000 and 1 million people at its peak, being the largest city in the world at the time. You need between 3 and 5 days to properly see this site. On my last visit I took 3 days with a driver and looked at maybe a dozen of the 1,000 or so buildings. It's completely vast. These huge stone faces are truly awe-inspiring. They've got serene expressions and they're all individual and they're everywhere. Hindu, Buddhist and animal statues are everywhere. And bas-relief carvings adorn every wall, showing gods, dancers, kings, battles in the history of the empire, at least up to 1431 when they stop. It's amazing how the stones and these faux trees or fig trees have become conjoined over the decades and centuries. The jungle didn't so much take over Angkor as assimilate it into the biomass, it seems. The woman in these pictures is probably getting married and was here taking photos as we were visiting. So we made a visit to Pub Street naturally, which was absolutely pumping, significantly more so than on my last visit around 2015. I'm not sure I like this aspect of the area's development, but I'm really glad if the local economy is thriving. In the next and last video of the chronological tour, we visit another ancient bridge which was part of an ancient highway, and we cross our 4th border back into Thailand. So thanks for watching this one and hope to see you in the next one. Cheers now, bye.